Tashbulak, very famous city, everyone knows about it. It's like Rome, Cairo, Tashbulak. We found Tashbulak in 2011, and I want to show it to you here. What you're looking at here is an animation of ground-penetrating radar. We've only excavated a very small part of the city so far, yet we understand exactly how big it is, where the walls are, and how it's laid out, simply on the basis of using a radar signal fired into the ground that bounces back anomalies and gives us a very accurate map of what is going on under the surface. So you might say, well, okay, so how does this relate? Right? So you found a city along the Silk Road. It's probably just another Silk Road city. We know about Silk Road cities. 75% of them fall on the Silk Road. We got it. Well, this one is unique, or amongst the unique sites we know of, because it belonged to a time period when the Silk Road was controlled by the largest nomadic empire before the Mongols, the Karakhanid Khanate. This was an aggregate of tribal communities of nomads that decided they were tired of having to fight against everybody else, so they got together and created a polity. And that polity had some pretty amazing consequences. First and foremost, they became not only the traders of, but the purveyors of high-carbon steel. Now, high-carbon steel is significant because it gives us all of the buildings in San Francisco. It gives us cars. It gives us samurai swords. It gives us basically arms. And when you're in a world in which swords and battle axes are your number one arms, having a sword that's a lot better than a piece of casted iron is really important. Important enough that the Arab armies of the Caliphate in the Near East purchased their swords from Central Asia, and those swords became the very swords that deflected the first Crusaders and won the first crusade for the Arab armies. High-carbon steel has never been unimportant from the day it was invented until now. That economic drive also inspired them to start to participate in notions of civilization that could in fact be seen as exterior to their nomadic origins. They hired Persian architects and worked with local developers to make mausolea, and some of them are quite incredible. These are standing mausolea from the 10th century. They had poets, cartographers, polymaths, astronomers. These are not folks who were barbaric outsiders, but in fact, at this stage in their development, were beginning to assimilate to a broader model of civilization. This city is an important lesson for us. Tashbulak did grow up pretty fast, but it only lasted 200 years. And I think it was the hubris of the Karakhanids. They were a nomadic polity. They started to compete with empires. They started to build cities and settle down and dive into that old model of civilization. And I think it was their downfall. I think they went too far. I think that they stopped being sustainable. So they were too rigid, too stable, too assimilative, if you will. Now, I'm not fighting against assimilation. What I'm fighting against is the idea here that this nomadic system, which had functioned for already 2,000 or more, or 3,000 years, this connectivity and network and this open ecumen started to lock up. And the Karakhanids, in a sense, played a role in that. And their networks froze, and their cities died.